Hey everybody, it's Charlie from Daily Motor. And today we've got the infotainment breakdown on the 2023 Ford Bronco Sport and its Sync 3 infotainment system. In this video, we're going to take a look at how the infotainment and the gauge system work. We're going to take a look at how Android Auto and Apple CarPlay look up on the screen, and we're going to show you how to pair up a phone, change the clock settings, and hopefully answer questions you have about how the system works. Before we get started, let's hop out and take a look at it. I really love this Heritage Edition Bronco Sport. It's just such a great styled vehicle. In this day and age of so many bland crossovers, this Bronco Sport really sparks things up, and it's got a good amount of ability too. We've done some pretty serious off-roading with it, and it's handled it like a champ. If you do want to see more on the Bronco Sport here, check the link in the description. We're doing a full-fledged video suite. We're going to have sound system test and this B&O 10-speaker sound system. Highway fuel economy testing, review, all the good things linked below. All right, so taking a look at the technology suite here, starting up in the gauge cluster, we've got two traditional style gauges and then a digital information screen in the middle. Right now we're in the, I guess I'm coming off of the F-150, so things are a little bit different even if they're laid out pretty similarly. We're gonna select all the different possible screens here. Oh, actually, you have a limit on how many screens you can select. So let me go back and just kind of walk you through here. So this is kind of your main bit of information that you're going to see. Up in the top right, you've got your compass and an outside thermometer. Bottom left, you've got odometer. Bottom right, miles to empty. And you're always going to have digital speed right there. If you press this button on the end of the turn signal stalk, you turn off your lane keeping assist. And then the digital speed comes up in the middle. I don't love how when you have lane keeping on, you always got to have a smaller bit of digital speed. The same was true in our Ford Maverick that we owned, and that was one of my small pet peeves. But if you cycle through these screens here using the up, down, back, and menu controls and OK here on the right side of the wheel, you've got some screens you can choose from. So here you can see average fuel economy, trip 1, trip 2, that's showing you miles traveled, fuel economy, and time. And a tire pressure readout, and what audio you have playing. And then this is a calm screen that just kind of shows you nothing. But if you press menu, then you can select what sort of information shows up on those screens. So say if let's keep on tire pressure, but let's get rid of trip 2 and the calm screen. Then that frees us up to choose intelligent four-wheel drive and off-road and trailer light check. There's also seat belts and auto start stop. We're gonna leave those and go back and take a look. There's the trailer. There's no active trailer, so it's not really telling us anything. And the off-road screen that's showing you your pitch and yaw and steering angles. And then intelligent four-wheel drive, which wheels are getting power sent to them. If you go back to menu, then you can go down and choose individual settings for your audio. You could change inputs right from there. Navigation, if you wanted to quickly navigate to home or recent destinations without going into the center screen, you could do that here from your steering wheel. Phone, same thing. If you have a phone paired up via Bluetooth, you can make calls right from there. Settings, this is going to allow you to change some settings, but there really isn't much. Pretty much just oil life. Right now we've got 36% oil life remaining. We could reset that there if we changed oil on our own. And then display setup, you can change your speedometer into kilometers per hour right there. That's about it you got from that center screen. It's functional, it looks decent, kind of tells you what you need to know and not too much more. Making it over to the center screen, even though it's not perfectly built into the dash, it still is a good reach for the driver and passenger. It's functional, and you don't get much glare on the screen. It's a pretty good setup. Sync 3 is getting a little dated at this point, but it is functional. This is your home screen. You can see up on the top, you have the outside temperature and a clock, as well as on the top right, your cell phone signal, and on the top left, a home button. Like I said, this is your home screen, and it's showing a split screen layout right now. We've got our mapping on the left, audio on the top right, and then phone status on the bottom right with a persistent menu down below of your different sort of main applications. Let's start at the bottom left with audio. Here's your audio screen. You can see even though it's playing the FM source right now, we've got presets down here that can be for all different radio sources. So you could have your Sirius XM presets dialed right in here with AM and FM radio presets as well. And if you come up here and hit sources, that's going to allow you to switch to different sources that are available on the car. Bottom screen going over to phone. This is going to be your opportunity to, say, dial numbers from the phone keypad, view your contacts, make calls directly from there. Continuing on, you have navigation. This is a car equipped with navigation, obviously, and it's a fairly rudimentary but effective nav system. You can see as I'm dragging around, there's quite a bit of delay as the system kind of gets used to what I'm doing here, but you can pinch and zoom. It's nice to at least have it as a mapping function, especially if you don't have a cell phone connected using Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. You can at least have navigation screen up. It's not the largest screen either, so you might find yourself not exclusively relying on it for nav, but it is controllable via voice, and we'll test that out here in a moment. Now, I should note, if you don't touch the screen for a while, that bottom bar goes away to allow for more room on the mapping screen here. But if you do need to get back, you can either press this home button or press this controls, and that brings up your controls down here and allows you to go to the next screen. For us, that's apps, and there really aren't many applications installed on this car. Now that Ford is moving on to newer sync infotainment systems, there really aren't going to be many apps, but if you do have your mobile phone connected, you can install apps that are compatible with sync here. Right now we just have Sirius XM Travel Link, so this is kind of nice. It's going to show you conditions such as weather nearby. It's nice to be able to see your weather pretty easily, any alerts nearby you for weather. You can also see traffic info or, for example, fuel prices. Let's see what prices of fuel are near us. All right, looks like some of them don't show up, but the ones that do, we're looking at over $6 a gallon. Not too surprising there. Coming back down this bottom menu, we're going to head to settings. We're not going to dig into every little individual setting, but we'll try to point out things that are important for you. First one is sound. This is how you're going to adjust your treble, mid-range, bass, and other sound settings for your radio. Clock right here. We do have an automatic daylight savings time and time zone and GPS time settings. So really, you don't have to change this at all if you're driving through time zones or the time changes. It's going to take care of it for you. But if you were the type of person who maybe likes to set your clock a few minutes fast, you can simply do that right there. And if you want 24-hour time to show up, you could click that and have a 24-hour clock. Coming back, we have a Bluetooth screen. This is going to be how you add Bluetooth devices. We're going to show you that here in a little bit. You could also turn your Bluetooth off if you didn't want it to be able to connect to anything. Next, phone settings. You could adjust certain settings like let you know if you're going to be roaming or have a notification if your battery gets low. You can also set settings for the tone that you get when a text message comes in. Few different fun options there, or you could simply turn that off, which some people might want to have if you don't want to be bothered while you're driving. Continuing down, we've got a radio settings screen. If you want HD radio to be turned off for some reason, you could do that there. Also adjust how many pages of presets you have. Driver assistance. This is where you're going to be able to change. If you don't like the adaptive cruise control where the vehicle slows down for a slower car ahead of you, you can actually turn that off here. You can also choose intelligent cruise control, and that's actually going to read speed limit signs as you go by them and adjust your cruise control for that speed limit. I don't always find that feature to be super useful in cars. I typically like to just set my own speed limit and let it handle it from there, but it is an option. Or you could simply go to normal and not have any sort of adaptive cruise right there, and it does kind of let you know when you turn that off that you're making that change. Then for your lane keeping system, you can change whether you want it to just yell at you if you change a lane without putting your signal on, or like if you're drifting out of your lane, or it can actually help coax you back into the lane, or just have one of those. I like having that on. You can also change the intensity of that, how dramatically it's going to fight you. If you're someone who likes to change lanes a lot without using your turn signal, you might want that to be off. Pre-collision assist. It's going to adjust here how much you want the car to help you if it's about to sense a collision, because this car can actually brake for you if you're going to have a collision, and it can try to turn out of the way. I like having all of that on. Alert sensitivity also, if you find that it's coming on too, like maybe you're someone who tailgates and you're getting the warning coming on too often, you can change that to a low sensitivity, or if you're extra cautious, you can have that on high sensitivity there. Speed sign recognition. You can actually get a warning if you're speeding, if you like that, and you can adjust how you want that warning to come on, if you want it to come on lower than speed limit or higher or right on. Rear view camera, if you want the camera to stay on for a little bit after you put the car in gear, some people like that. Blind spot information system, you usually want to have that on. I don't really see why you'd have that off. Trailer sway control, if you're towing a trailer with the Bronco Sport, it'll actually help counter steer if you got a big wind coming across. We had the same feature in our Maverick, and it worked really well when we were towing an enclosed trailer. Parking aid beepers, so as you're coming up to say something like those concrete pillars in front of us there, then it's going to beep at you as you're getting close and alert you. Cross traffic alert, this is a really nice feature. If you're backing out and there's a car coming perpendicular to you, it's going to warn you of that. And then a driver alert. This one, people might find themselves wanting to turn off. If it senses that you're not being very attentive to driving, it will beep at you. A lot of settings there in driver assistance, but let's continue on to vehicle settings. 30-minute max idle. If you want the car to shut off after it's been idling for 30 minutes, you'll leave that on. Rear occupant alert. You'll notice when we shut the vehicle off in our review, it beeps at you to let you know that, just to make sure you didn't leave a child back there or anything like that. If you're someone who never travels with children in the back, maybe you turn that off. Easy entry and exit. This is actually going to adjust the seat for you to get in and out to make it a little bit easier. I like having that off. My key settings, if you want to set up a key for, say, a teenage driver or a second person in the house, you can do that in there. Remote start setup. When you have remote start enabled, what do you want to happen? Do you want the heated seats and heated steering wheel to come on for you, depending on temperature? Do you want the last settings to come on for your climate control, or do you want it to automatically sense whether it needs heat or cooling? And how long do you want the car to be able to idle before turning itself back off? Under Windows, this gives you the ability to open and close the windows using your remote control or My Ford app. Same with wipers here. You've got courtesy wipe. So when you run the windshield washer fluid, you want one extra wipe to happen about 5 seconds later to clear off some extra bits. A lot of customization there. Under lighting, do you want the auto high beams to work? Ford's auto high beams work okay. It's still kind of worth having those on, I think. Daytime running lamps, if for some reason you wanted a night ride and have those off, you could choose that. And then auto lamp delay. If you get out, lock the car, walk away, how long do you want the lights to stay on as you walk away? It's definitely a nice feature to have. For locks, if you want it to auto unlock as you walk up, unlocks doors when you reach a speed lower than 12, come to a stop, turn the ignition off, and open the driver door. Do you want all the doors to unlock? Audible feedback for locking. If you want the horn to chirp when you lock the button twice, when you press the lock button twice on your key. Remote unlock. When you walk up and press the remote unlock button, do you want all the doors to unlock or just the driver door? And intelligent access, to be able to just walk up and put your hand on the key or on the door handle and unlock it. That's your option right there. Lastly, in vehicle settings, you've got your door keypad code. This is one of my favorite features from Ford. It allows you to punch in a 5-digit code into the door to unlock your vehicle, and you can lock it from there as well. This is how you actually set your own code. You just need the factory code, which is probably found in your manual on a little card, and then you can put in your own custom code. I love having that feature on Fords. Ford Pass Connect. This is how you're going to set up the Ford Pass app if you have it on your phone. We're going to skip over that. But the Ford Pass app does have a lot of nice things, being able to remote start your vehicle, see how much fuel you have left, where it's located, those sort of things. Under General Settings, this is how you change your language between English, Spanish, and French. Your temperature units, your miles and miles per gallon units, your tire pressure units. This is a feature that a lot of people might want to turn on or off. The touchscreen beep. I have it off right now, but if it's on, then you can see anytime we touch something, you get this beep happening. It's not a bad beep, I'm tired of hearing it, so I turned it off. System updates, you're going to turn those on there, and also if you go to sell the vehicle, this is where you're going to reset all of your settings, get rid of all your presets, any of your personal info, do that under General. Next, Wi-Fi. You can actually connect the Bronco Sport to your home Wi-Fi network in order to download system updates. You do that from there. Definitely a little bit of lag in the system. 911 assist. If you have an accident and you want it to automatically call 911, you're going to have that enabled there. Automatic updates. If you want the system to automatically connect to your home Wi-Fi after you've set it up and then download and install system updates, you enable that there. If you want to install mobile applications, there's your mobile app screen. Android Auto and Apple CarPlay settings, or rather devices connected. You can see which devices have been set up there in order to connect to Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Then display settings. This is how you can turn the display all the way off. If maybe it's dark and you're cruising at night, you don't need to see anything in the center. Simply tap it to bring it back on. You can also choose a calm screen, which simply shows you the time and date. Again, tap it to get back to your full system. You can change the background screen. I think this is kind of nice. There's a little bit of color in there if you want it to look a little bit different. You can also adjust the brightness right here of the system. I always forget to turn this all the way up before I shoot these reviews. but if you're someone who maybe has a little bit more sensitive eyes, you can turn it down from there. Then you can also change the mode. Right now it's in auto, so in day it's going to look like this, and then in night it's going to look like this. It's a much darker system, going to be easier on your eyes. Some people like to just have it in night mode all the time. I understand that, but I think for this review it's going to pop better in day mode. Lastly, on this last screen we have settings for the voice control. Advanced mode is going to make it so it's not going to repeat as many things back to you. You can simply talk at it and have it do its thing. Valet mode, you can actually put in a pin here and prevent valet from accessing certain functionality and going over certain speeds. And then lastly, navigation settings. If you have different preferences for your map, you can have it track with breadcrumbs, show points of interest, and say avoid tolls or use HOVs. That's where you're going to set your preferences in there. All right, let's test out voice controls real quick. Press this button on the steering wheel. I don't think we have a wake word option in this car, do we? I don't think so. So we got to press the button on the steering wheel. Navigate to the nearest Starbucks.
When ready, press the voice button and then say, set as destination, or dial the number.
Set as destination.
Setting new destination. Obey traffic laws, be alert, and use voice commands while driving.
Alright, so a little bit more of a rudimentary system. You can't simply talk at it naturally, but you can see it does work. How about for cancellation? Cancel navigation.
Canceling route.
Alright, it's responding pretty quickly though. Set the temperature to 62 degrees. Alright, works for setting temperature too. How about for passenger temp? Set the passenger temperature to 64 degrees. It set both of our temperatures. Okay, alright, good to know, good to know. What else have we got? What do we usually do? I feel like there's one we're blanking on. But yeah, that's how your voice controls work. I think it's going to be pretty simple and effective. Let's plug in Android Auto, see how that works here. I had it unplugged because, interestingly, you can't use the car's built-in navigation when you have Android Auto plugged in. And there you see it coming up, taking up the entire screen. So you should know if you want to get back to the main Ford screen, you got to press your apps list and then click Ford. But here it is. You've got your Android Auto, your Google Maps taking up kind of the 3/5 on this side and then 2/5 on the other side there for some hot key buttons, kind of depending on what's going on there. If you get a message, it's going to come up in the top right, or it's giving you locations right now for Google Maps. And then you've got your audio on the bottom right. Let's open up Google Maps. Using Android Auto, you've got pinch to zoom functionality, and you can move around like that. Seems to be working pretty well. Again, not the largest screen, but it's going to at least get you what you need. Then on the bottom row, you have your most recently used apps. Let's hop over here to YouTube Music. Press the Super Mix so you can see what it looks like here. What are we getting for songs today? Soul Survivor, Young Jeezy. Okay, all right. It's fun, Mr. Bronco Sport. Cool, how about the dialer? What does that look like? There you go, you see your favorite contacts, and you can press up here and get dial a number. Pretty good refresh rate and good responsiveness out of Android Auto. But what about Apple CarPlay? Now, since there is no wireless functionality here, I'm going to show you how to pair up a phone. And then we're going to plug in the iPhone to actually get functionality there for Apple CarPlay. But you can see I've got my iPhone here. I'm going to go to my settings screen and click Bluetooth. And then on the car, I'm going to go here to phone. That's actually not going to work because I already have a phone connector. I'm going to have to go to settings, swipe over to phone, and then view devices, add a Bluetooth device.
Search for your vehicle on your device.
Now scrolling down on the bottom of my phone here on the Bluetooth screen, I get sync. I'm going to click that.
Confirm that the pin displayed on sync matches the pin displayed on your device.
I'm going to press pair on both my phone and on the screen here. I'm going to press yes. Click through all the acceptance screens on my device.
Stay alert to changing road conditions and use Sync's voice-activated features while your vehicle is in motion.
And after pressing finish on the car's screen, the phone is paired up via Bluetooth. Now this is not going to give me Apple CarPlay, but it still is going to allow me to stream music via Bluetooth here in the audio screen and make phone calls. But if I want to have full Apple CarPlay support, I'm going to have to use a cable and plug it in. When I plug in the phone, then it asks me to continue with Apple CarPlay and agree. And then on the phone, I'm going to have to hit allow. And now I've got CarPlay coming up, taking up the whole screen as well. Same thing, if I want to get back to the Ford menu, I'm going to click down to the app screen and click Ford. But swiping through, there's all your apps. And we can go home, see your home screen with your Google Maps and your information on the right. With Apple CarPlay, you cannot pinch to zoom in Google Maps, but you can swipe around. And again, the refresh rate quite good. Let's take a look at YouTube Music. Here's your home screen. Let's hit the Super Mix, see what we're getting out of the iPhone. Is it feeling, okay, feeling some Doja. Not bad, not bad. All right. And let's take it over to the phone screen. You can see your favorite contacts again. And then here's what your keypad's going to look like. All right, there it is. The Sync 3 system here in the Ford Bronco Sport. Simple but effective. Let me know if you have any questions down in the comments. I'll try to answer them the best I can. If you want to see more on the car, check the link in the description for our sound system test, our review, our fuel economy test, all that good stuff linked below. And we'll see you on the next one. I'm Charlie from Daily Motor, and as always, drive on.